Young Bible Quiz, and we do these competitions with other Lutheran and Catholic schools in the area. They go over to the University of Michigan in Dearborn at the TV studio there, and they actually tape this, they broadcast it. Is it on cable somewhere?
Yeah, well,
I'm looking at one of the coaches. Okay. And it's just the format is like a Jeopardy format. You have these categories and numbers, and you call out who for 25, and then there will be a question, something in a section that these kids will study. And we've been doing this for many, many years, ever since I've been here. And this is the thing about our Bible Quiz team, if I can boast this morning. Of the 12 years I've been here, I think we have won and been champions for of 9 of those 12 years. One of those years, we took a year off, we didn't have a team. And I think there's only 2, if someone can verify that, I think there's only 2 years that we actually didn't win the championship. I could be wrong about that. It might have been one. I know there's one for sure. It's my son last night. But the thing is, and so I bring this up because yesterday we had a little mock competition with them. It was myself, a group of alumni, Mr. Lopescu, and the current team. And it was through Joshua's 1 through 5. Those Judges 1 through 5. That's my name. It so well. And I remember reading those 5 chapters of Judges, and just like, man, there's so much knowledge and information and such great stuff just in those 5 chapters of Judges. Now, I've read through Judges. I've gone through Judges many times. It's been a while, but I also took a different approach, because usually when I go through Judges, usually I'm focusing on one chapter or a particular judge or a particular event. And just read those 5 chapters in a setting, it just kind of puts everything a lot together, and just what God's Word unfolding before me. And then I was really impressed yesterday as we were going through those little mock competition of how much knowledge our kids know already in Judges. And that's to say, a lot of this is root knowledge. They're just memorizing names and places and some factoids here, just to answer the questions. But it's, I think, a great exercise of just getting to God's Word and not just reading it, but really learning it, memorizing it, and getting to know that part of Scripture. And so that's what I want to talk about today is being in God's Word. We should know this as Christians, but as Christians, what unites us together, what we build our lives on, what our faith is solely based on, is that of the essence of the Word of God. It's God's Word that gives us our life and our breath. It gives us meaning. It gives us direction. It gives us hope. It creates our world view and how we look at things. God's Word is everything. But the truth is, we wrestle with it. We fight sometimes against it of God's Word. And you know what? There's something that makes sense about that. Because if God's Word is the most important source of knowledge and truth and belief in our foundation of our life, of course Satan is going to do whatever he can to take that love of God's Word away from us. So looking at Jacob, we just read that story of Jacob. One of the most fascinating accounts recorded in the book of the Old Testament, but in the book of Genesis, the story of Jacob in this wrestling match he had with God. And in the context of that, put this as part of the context, Jacob is actually on his way back home. He ran away from home because of this, stealing his birthright from his brother and going to his uncle's house, and then eventually marrying 2 daughters of his uncle. And now he's on his way back. He's a wealthy person. He's an older person. It's been several years since he's been home. But all his life, if we know the story of Jacob, all his life, Jacob did what? He always fought against, ultimately, God. But he fought against everyone else. He fought against his father. He fought fought against his brother. He fought against his uncle. He had fought against his own wives, which shows that there's an issue with Jacob. He had a lot of issues. But ultimately, who he was fighting and resisting was against God and naming his word. And so you have this big wrestling match. And what this wrestling match really is, it just kind of puts everything all together. It wraps everything up together and says, this is what Jacob has been doing. God came upon him, and what did he do? He wrestled him. He wrestled him all night. And he would not give up. Neither would God. And God saw that he was not going to stop Jacob from wrestling. And so that little passage there, he touches his hip and dislocates his hip to basically wound him. But at the end, what does God do? He blesses him. And even Jacob comes to realize that he was fighting against God, but at the end, instead of being destroyed like he deserved, he was instead blessed. See, that's what I love about the story, because I think it's a perfect example of God's pure grace for us. But one thing we can drive from this story is kind of this battle that I think you and I are all facing. Is this: we wrestle with God, especially through his word. Because who did Jacob want to be? He wanted to be his own person. He wanted to call his own shots. If he was the youngest of a twin, that shouldn't matter. He didn't deserve, but he wanted to get his father's birthright. He wanted to get his father's blessing. He wanted the best sheep from his uncle. He wanted the beautiful daughter, not poor Leah, of course. He wanted these things for himself. He didn't care about anyone but himself. And so really what Jacob comes to be is what really all of us really are inside. That's that nature of sin. And so through God's word, we also wrestle with God. I want to switch gears to what Paul says in 2 Timothy. And that's what is the book of Timothy and what we read here as our part of our epistle. These are just sound instructions that Paul's giving to Timothy, especially when it comes to the importance as a pastor. Make sure you preach God's word. Teach it. You follow it. You learn it. And you give it out to the people. Don't ever forsake preaching, teaching God's word. But Paul gives them a warning in chapter 3. He says, "For the time will come when men would not put up a sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they would gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. They would turn their ears away from the true side to miss." And so that's kind of the situation we find ourselves in even today, even going back to Paul and Timothy's time, going all the way back to Jacob, and then you have to go all the way back to Cain and Abel. We're not going to stand for the truth. But instead, our itching ears, our struggling soul is going to want to listen to those things that we desire to hear. And it's not going to be the truth of God. And so when we look at the importance of God's word, as I said, as Christians, this is something we should value, but we've been struggling with this. We've been wrestling with this for a long time. Like today, a big concern, and I even see it with my own ministry, is biblical literacy. And just the simple fact that people don't know the Bible. And there's a lot as a church. Maybe we should do more, do better at Sunday school, do better with youth group. We're blessed with our day school, and I know our day school because we do teach them the Bible. But what happens is we have this mindset. Well, I went through Lutheran school. I went through Sunday school. I even went through high school, and as soon as we get out into the world, as soon as we become adults, what do? We stop learning. And if you're not learning, you're going to forget it. And so there is a high rate of biblical literacy. People just don't know what this God's Word says. And from that is the option that we just don't take time to be in devotion, to be reading God's Word. We have time for a lot of other things. How many of you watched football yesterday? How many wish you did watch football yesterday? But a distinct win?
They had a bye week.
Oh, well.
So yes.
All my teams lost yesterday. I don't know why. So my only hope is that the Lions might win today. So we take time to watch TV. We take time to be in front of the screen, in front of our laptops. We take lots of time to be on social media. We take time working, and we take time to work out. We take time to do a lot of things. But when it comes to being time in God's Word, how quickly we push it out to the side. This is the reality for all of us. I'm not picking on any one particular person. We just don't take time to be in God's Word. But second, kind of what Paul was saying to Timothy, not only is there a rate of not being God's Word, but for a lot of people, we just don't believe in it. We don't care what it says because we don't want to really listen to it. It's easy for us to replace the truth of God's Word to what the world is saying, to listen to the world's philosophies or to science or to these other points of information because they do speak to our hearts what our itching ears want to hear. And I know this is a very difficult circumstance and very difficult to hear because I know in our hearts we're wrestling with this. And I said earlier, the reason why is because the one thing Satan does not want you to listen to is God. You definitely don't believe in His Word. Because if Satan can get you to divorce you away from God's Word and listening to His truth, then Satan has you. And we'll believe whatever we want to believe as long as it fits our narrative that we have created for ourselves. Just like Jacob. Maybe you should take time to read Jacob's life and all the scoundrel sins he's done. But at the end, what did God do? He blessed him. He loved him. Even when he was wrestling, he loved him. Another favorite passage to tie this all together is what Peter said to Jesus. This is recorded in John chapter 6. This is after the bread of life discourse when all the people, after Jesus fed the 5,000, he went sailed across the Sea of Galilee, and everyone came after him the next day. And they all wanted Jesus to come back and stay with them so that he can continue to provide them food. And so that's when Jesus gave them the truth. He gave them His Word and said, I am the bread of life. You believe in me, you feed on me, you will never grow hungry. You drink from me, you will never grow thirsty. This is what Jesus wanted to give to the world, not just mere bread and fish to feed their stomachs. He wanted to give them food that was going to feed their soul and their heart. And after this long, beautiful discourse of the bread of life, He has come to feed the world with Himself. What did the people do? They all left, disappointed. They didn't care about this bread of life. They didn't care about mercy or forgiveness or eternal life or salvation. They just went back to their homes, maybe to find someone else who can give them food. And so Jesus turned to His disciples and He asked them very directly and point blank, will you two leave me? And this is when Peter says, to whom shall we go? For you have the words of eternal life. And let that be our confession. Who can we go to? Who can we believe in? Who can we put our heart and our faith into?